It's a war that has been brewing for months, and tonight, on Monday Night Raw, it exploded. Paul Heyman's carefully constructed empire, his vision, has been shattered by the unpredicted, the uncontrollable, the absolute chaos that is Dean Ambrose. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. You thought you knew chaos, you thought you understood unpredictability, you were wrong. Dean Ambrose isn't just a variable, he's an earthquake, a hurricane, a force of nature that has just landed squarely in the middle of WWE. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. Tonight, on Raw, the arena lights flickered, a familiar, gritty voice echoed, and then bam, Ambrose charged through the crowd, a whirlwind of pure, unadulterated madness, and delivered a terrifying warning directly to Paul Heyman: I'm back, and I'm coming for you. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. This isn't just a return, it's an invasion. It's a declaration of war. Paul Heyman, you built your empire on control, on predictability, on exploiting weaknesses. But how do you prepare for someone who embodies the very antithesis of all that? How do you counter chaos incarnate? 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. The Vision faction had answers for power, for speed, for strategy, but they had no answer for the lunatic fringe. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. Ambrose's return isn't just about him, it's about what it means for everyone. What does this mean for Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins? 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. Could this be the spark that ignites a full Shield reunion, or will it be a collision course that tears them all apart? 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. The implications for upcoming events like Survivor Series and War Games are now monumental. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. And the question on everyone's mind: why now? What triggered this explosive return? Was it something Heyman did, something he said, or is this the culmination of a long simmering plan that no one saw coming? 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. Let's dive deep into the madness. Let's dissect every moment of this shocking return and explore the terrifying warning Dean Ambrose just sent to Paul Heyman and his entire Vision faction. Tonight, Raw didn't just witness a return, it witnessed the arrival of a reckoning. The unpredictable force returns, Ambrose's shocking entrance. The air in the arena was thick with anticipation, the usual Monday Night Raw buzz amplified by the presence of Paul Heyman and his formidable faction, the Vision. Heyman, ever the showman, was in the midst of his typically grandiose monologue, boasting about his faction's inevitable dominance, with Brock Lesnar, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker standing menacingly behind him. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. He was talking about War Games, about control, about the future he envisioned for WWE. Little did he know, his vision was about to be violently interrupted. Suddenly, the arena lights flickered, plunging the crowd into a momentary darkness. A familiar, gritty voice, laced with an unsettling calm, echoed through the speakers: "You can't see me, but I can see you." 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. The crowd erupted. The unmistakable, iconic theme music of Dean Ambrose blasted through the arena, sending shockwaves of pure adrenaline through every single fan. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. And then, he appeared. Not from the entrance ramp, not with a grand procession, but surging through the crowd, a force of nature unleashed. Dean Ambrose, with that wild, unhinged look in his eyes that fans remember all too well, microphone in hand, marched directly towards the ring. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. He stopped just feet from Heyman, the tension palpable, the silence deafening, save for the roaring of the crowd. "You talk about your vision, Paul," Ambrose snarled, his voice raw and guttural. But my vision is you and your monsters lying in a pool of your own blood. My vision is chaos. My vision is destruction you can't even comprehend. 1https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0. He pointed directly at Heyman, his gaze intense and unwavering. Your vision ends where my madness begins. 1https://www.youtube.com/watch=QQSFLV9BLE0. This was not the calculated intensity of Jon Moxley in AEW. This was pure, unadulterated Dean Ambrose. This was the lunatic fringe, back to dismantle carefully laid plans and expose the weaknesses in even the most powerful fact irons. 1https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0. For Paul Heyman, this was his worst nightmare realized, an opponent who cannot be strategized against, who cannot be intimidated, and who actually enjoys the pain and chaos of combat. 1https://www.youtube.com/watch v=QQSFLV9BLE0. Viewer question 1. What was your immediate reaction when Dean Ambrose's music hit? Were you jumping out of your seat, or were you in disbelief? Let me know in the comments below. The warning, a message to Heyman and the vision. Ambrose's return wasn't just a physical manifestation of chaos, it was a verbal assault, a chilling warning aimed squarely at Paul Heyman. 1https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0. While Jon Moxley's intensity in AEW is rooted in calculated aggression, Dean Ambrose operates on a different plane, the plane of pure, unpredictable madness. 1https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0. This is the version of the superstar who thrives on dismantling carefully laid plans and exposing the inherent weaknesses in even the most formidable fact irons. 1https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0. For Paul Heyman, this is the ultimate manifestation of his worst fears. He's dealt with strategists, with powerhouses, with men who can be reasoned with or intimidated. But Dean Ambrose is an anomaly. He's an opponent who cannot be outsmarted, cannot be bullied, and, most terrifyingly, seems to revel in the very destruction that Heyman tries to control. 1https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0. Heyman's carefully constructed world, built on the foundation of the vision and its perceived invincibility, has just been rocked to its core. 1https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0. The fact that Ambrose appeared out of nowhere, disrupting Heyman's monologue and delivering such a visceral threat, speaks volumes about the disruption he represents. 1https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0. This isn't just about a faction, it's about the very fabric of WWE's power structure, and Ambrose has just ripped a gaping hole in it. The recent mention of Dean Ambrose's name by Paul Heyman on the 23rd of March 2026, during a segment involving Brock Lesnar, has only fueled the fire.
2https://www.sportskeeda.com/WWE/news-Dean-Ambrose-bomb-shell-drop-on-WWE-raw-after-Brock-Lesnar-gets angry 3 https://www.wrestlingheadlines.com/Paul-Heyman-does-in-opening-segment-on-3-2-3-WWE-raw/while listing past challenges to Lesnar, Heyman casually dropped Ambrose's name, a move that sent shockwaves through the WWE Universe. 2https://www.sportskeeda.com/WWE-news-Dean-Ambrose-bomb-shell-drop-on-WWE-Brock-Lesnar-gets angry 3 https://wrestlingheadlines.com/Paul-Heyman-does-Dean-Ambrose-name-drop-in-explosive-opening-segment-on-3-2-3
WWE-Raw / this wasn't just a throwaway line, it was a deliberate invocation of a legend, a reminder of the unpredictable force that Ambrose represents, even while currently signed to AEW as Jon Moxley. 2 https://www.sportskeeda.com/www/news-dean-ambrose-bump-shell-angrey4https://news-www.sportskeeda.com/u/news-www-suddenly-drops-angry4https://2026 the fact that Heyman chose to name drop Ambrose, a former WWE champion, over other potential challengers, seemed like a pointed and intentional move, especially considering Ambrose's long tenure with AEW. 2 https://www.sportskeeda.com/WWE-/news-dean-ambrose-bump-shell-drop-on-Brock Lesnar-gets-angry. This name drop has ignited a frenzy among fans, with many speculating that this is a direct tease for Ambrose's return at WrestleMania 42. 5 https://www.sportskeeda.com/u/news-ambrose-coming-back-mania-on-he-s-dash-coming-back-fans-up-Raw while he is currently under contract with AEW. The wrestling world has seen stranger things happen. 6 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=y3ux7 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=loe9 oskyU8 The possibility of a crossover or a surprise return, however unlikely it may seem, is now a hot topic of discussion. 6 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=y3ux7 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=loe9 oskyU8 Viewer Question 2 Do you think Paul Heyman mentioning Dean Ambrose on Raw was a deliberate tease for a return, or just a random name drop? What are your theories? The Shield's shadow, reunion or ruin? The return of Dean Ambrose inevitably brings to mind his legendary past with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns as the Shield. 8 https://cultaholic.com/posts/dean-ambrose-reportedly-decided-not-to-be-part-of-Roman-Reigns-return-on-WWE-Raw 9 https://timesafindaya.indiatimes.com/sports/WWE/top stories/Izu star Jon Moxley aka Dean Ambrose planning a return to WWE to settle scores with ex-Shield stablemate Seth Rollins /article show/123432306.cms Their brotherhood, their dominance, and their eventual implosion are etched into WWE history. Now, with Ambrose back on Raw, the question on everyone's mind is, will we see a Shield reunion, or will this return ignite a new, more destructive chapter in their intertwined destinies? 1 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0 There have been hints and rumors for years. Seth Rollins himself has addressed the possibility of a Shield reunion, acknowledging that while Ambrose is with another company, you never know what happens. For https://www.sportskeeda.com/u/news-wwe-suddenly-drops-dean-ambrose-reference-ahead-royal-rumble-2026 This sentiment echoes the unpredictable nature of the wrestling business. For https://www.sportskeeda.com/u/news-wwe-suddenly-drops-dean-ambrose-reference-ahead-royal-rumble-2026 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=y3ux The timing of Ambrose's return, especially with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins still prominent figures in WWE, makes a reunion or a confrontation incredibly compelling. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v QQSFLV9BLE07 https://www.youtube.com/watch?v Loey9 Oscayu8 Imagine the storytelling potential, The Shield, reformed to face a common enemy, or perhaps, even more dramatically, the Shield members finding themselves on opposing sides once again, their past loyalty tested by present ambitions. 7 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Loey9 Oscayu8 We've seen instances where Ambrose as Jon Moxley has issued warnings to Seth Rollins regarding Roman Reigns, showing that the bonds, however strained, still hold a significant weight. 10 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Cuckoo7D51 This suggests that the history between these three is far from over. 10 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Cuckoo7D51 Could this be the one last time that fans have been clamoring for? 11 https://www.youtube.com/watch v CXCPNSSP6 Could chance for the Shield to stand together one final time, immortalized as one of the greatest fact irons in wrestling history. 6 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Y3UX or will Ambrose's return be the catalyst for a new era of animosity, where old loyalties are discarded in favor of new power plays? 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch v QQSFLV9BLE0 The possibility of a Shield reunion is a massive draw, a goosebumps-inducing moment that WWE fans live for. 6 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Y3UX However, the narrative could also lean into the inherent conflict and history, creating a more complex and potentially explosive storyline. Viewer question 3 If the Shield were to reunite, what would be their primary goal? Would they be a force for good, or would they unleash their old destructive tendencies? The Moxley factor, AEW contract and crossover possibilities. The elephant in the room, of course, is Dean Ambrose's current contract with AEW as Jon Moxley. For https://www.sportskeeda.com/u/news-wwe-suddenly-drops-dean-Ambrose-reference-ahead-royal-20266 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Y3UX His contract is reportedly set to expire in 2027, which has led to intense speculation about his potential return to WWE. 7 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Loey9 Oscayu8 12 https://www.youtube.com/watch v AC1_DGMQXW However, the lines between promotions have blurred significantly in recent years, making contract status less of a definitive barrier than it once was. 6 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Y3UX 7 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Loey9 Oscayu8 We've seen talent cross over between promotions, and the idea of a forbidden door opening is no longer a distant fantasy. 6 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Y3UX 7 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Loey9 Oscayu8 This raises the question, could Dean Ambrose's return to WWE be part of a larger talent-sharing agreement, or is it a sign of a potential shift in his career trajectory? 6 https://www.youtube.com/watch v Y3UX Some reports suggest that WWE might be trying to persuade Ambrose to return within the next couple of years, especially given the massive viewership that videos about his potential return generate. 11 https://www.youtube.com/watch v CXCPNSSP6 The fact that WWE was able to bring back Centimeter Punk, who had significant issues with the company, suggests that bridges can be rebuilt, and creative dissatisfaction, a primary reason for Ambrose's initial departure, may no longer be an issue. 7 https://www.youtube.com/watch v=Loey9 Furthermore, the recent mention of Dean Ambrose by Paul Heyman, despite Moxley being an AEW star, has only intensified these discussions. 2 https://www.sportskeeda.com/WWE-bombshell-Dean-Ambrose-bomb-shell-Brock-Lesnar-gets-angry 3 https://paul-heyman-does-in-ambroise-name-drop-in-323-WWE-Raw/it's a bold move that blurs the lines between storyline and reality, and it has fans buzzing about the possibilities. 3 https://paul-heyman-does-in-drop-in-explosive-opening-segment-on-3-23-WWE-Raw/. However, it's also important to consider that Moxley has expressed happiness with the creative freedom he's been given in AEW. 11 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=cxcpnssb6 His wife also still works for AEW, which could influence his decision. 7 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=Loey9 Iyo Sky. The question remains, what's left for Moxley to achieve in AEW, and could a return to WWE, perhaps for one last run with his former Shield brothers, be the ultimate way to cap off his legendary career? 11 https://www.youtube.com/watch=cxcpnssb6 Viewer question 4 If Dean Ambrose were to return to WWE, what would be the absolute biggest match you'd want to see him in? The warning and its implications. What's next for WWE? Dean Ambrose's warning to Paul Heyman is more than just a catchphrase, it's a statement of intent. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0 It signifies a direct challenge to the established order, a disruption of the carefully orchestrated narratives that Paul Heyman has been weaving. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0 This return has the potential to shake WWE to its very core. 1 https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=QQSFLV9BLE0 The impact on the Vision faction is undeniable. How will Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Brock Lesnar react to this unhinged force entering their territory? 1 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0 Will they try to contain him with brute force, or will they find themselves outmaneuvered by his unpredictable tactics? 1 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=QQSFLV9BLE0 The mention of Dean Ambrose by Paul Heyman on the 23rd of March 2026, during a segment that also featured Brock Lesnar, has led to widespread speculation. 2 https://www.sportskeeda.com/WWE/news-Dean-Ambrose-bomb-shell-Brock-Lesnar-gets-angry 3 https://www.dean-ambrose-name-drop-in-Dash-explosive-opening-segment-on-3-23-WWE-Raw/Heyman, while listing past challenges to Lesnar, dropped Ambrose's name, a move that fans interpreted as a significant tease. 2 https://www.sportskeeda.com/WWE-news-Dean-Ambrose-bomb-shell-Brock-Lesnar-gets-angry 3 https://wrestlingheadlines.com/Paul-Heyman-does-Dean-Ambrose-name-drop-in-explosive-opening-segment-on-3-23- WWE-Raw / this has fueled rumors of a potential return at WrestleMania 42, despite Ambrose's current AEW contract. 5 https://www.sportskeeda.com/u/news Ambrose coming back mania om he s coming back fans erupt John Moxley gets suddenly name drop WWE Raw. The wrestling landscape is constantly evolving, and the lines between promotions are becoming increasingly blurred. 6 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=y3ux 7 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=loe9 Oskai 8 While Ambrose's contract with AEW is set to expire in 2027, the possibility of an earlier return to WWE cannot be entirely dismissed. 7 https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=loe9 Oskai 8 12 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=ac1_dgmqxw The WWE Universe is hungry for major returns, and Ambrose's name consistently generates massive viewership. 11 https://www.youtube.com/watch=CXCPNSSP6 The question isn't just if Dean Ambrose will return, but how WWE will book him. 13 https://www.reddit.com/r//fantasyBooking/comment//1n1tweet/how_John_Moxley's_be_booked/will they harness the unhinged, unpredictable nature that made him so popular, or will they try to fit him into a more conventional mold? 13 https://www.reddit.com/r//fantasyBooking/comments/1n1tweet/how_John_Moxley's_be_booked/if WWE can offer him the creative freedom he desires. His return in 2027 could be one of the biggest in the company's history. 7 https://www.youtube.com/watchv=loe9 Oskai 8 The warning has been issued. The gauntlet has been thrown down. Paul Heyman's empire is on notice. The unpredictable force of Dean Ambrose has arrived, and WWE will never be the same. Viewer question 5 What is your boldest prediction for Dean Ambrose's return? Will he go straight for Paul Heyman, or will he target someone else first? Share your wildest theories in the comments. This is just the beginning. The chaos has just been unleashed. Dean Ambrose is back, and the WWE Universe is holding its breath, waiting to see what happens next. Don't miss a single moment of the fallout. Subscribe to Wrestling Zone 1 for all the breaking news, in-depth analysis, and unmissable updates as this explosive storyline unfolds.